Has the Ukraine conflict changed your view of the importance of Canada's oil and gas industry?
Yes, I'm really concerned because as far as I'm concerned, Russia has the biggest supply of gas, natural gas to Europe as well as US. And I was really upset by the current US administration closing the pipeline from Canada to US. So currently, yeah, I understand the trend of saving the nature, looking for some other sources of energy
for the environment.
For the environment.
Yeah.
I'm really, I understand that, but currently there's no substitute for natural gas and oil. So we have to use these resources as much as we can. Of course, it doesn't mean that we have to stop exploring the other sources of energy, but currently we don't have any substitute.
I think it's time that we start producing for ourselves and cutting our dependence on foreign oil and foreign natural resources. We've got tons of it here. Let's use our country's resources and get those gas prices down.
Domestically, we still don't have a pipeline to the east. We still import some oil. Well, obviously we export more, and it all goes to the U.S. Canada always tends to take the lazy, easy way out. We're a country that's basically gotten very rich off resources. Now we see another opportunity to get richer without actually doing very much about it in terms of oil and gas. Oil and gas are not the fuels of the future, to my way of thinking. But Canada will always be at the bottom of the pile, pretending we're doing things, and essentially it doesn't matter which party's in power. This is not a liberal thing or a conservative thing.
I work in oil, so I understand there's a need for domestic supply. Russia's being curtailed. They've shut down the main pipeline out of Russia. If we had the Keystone XL, of course, we'd be able to meet market demand. It would be less price at the pump. We could ramp up our domestic production here. Therefore, consumers wouldn't be paying so much at the pump. Again, I think it's appropriate to shut off the Russian supply of oil. Given that we have all the reserves here, why not explore them and, refine here, have the capacity in our own country in the U.S.?
I would say it's solidified what I already believe in that Canada really needs to be self-sustaining in our own resources, and if we have oil, why are we using other people's oil, right? I think we should use what we have.
My view of the importance of the oil and gas industry here in Canada hasn't changed. It's been the same since I was a kid. It's extremely important to us, not just in terms of our own economy, but our ability to deflect things like that are happening with Putin demanding rubles for his oil and gas and things like that. This is a problem, it's time to put on the big boy pants and deal with this. That we have to make some tough choices, and let's do it now. So that we don't have to deal with it in 20 years when they're mining the North Pole on us. That's the world we live in.
The conflict hasn't changed my view, and I think if anything, it's reaffirmed a view I hold, and I feel like a lot of people hold in this town, which is our strong ESG profile of things that we do, that there's a place in the global market for it.
I think from my point of view, I think the United States are realizing how much they depend on the Russian oil and gas, and they really have to turn their eyes northward towards Canada for that resource.
I think we need to be available to other countries that need oil, and certainly shipping oil across to Europe so they're not dependent on Russia is really a good direction for us to go.
No, it hasn't. I've always viewed the oil and gas industry in Canada as important. It hasn't changed my view of that. I do find it intriguing. I don't understand why America, when they're looking for further supplies, why they haven't cast their eye towards us as a major oil and gas producer and source of reserves. And I appreciate the oil sands and its greater impact on the environment. But nonetheless, it hasn't changed because I saw a central role for oil and gas, Canadian oil and gas, in transition to to green energy.
Yeah, it's definitely made me think about, who we're partnered with and the rates that we work out and the sanctions and whatnot. And it also opened my eyes really to how much we depend on other nations, right, for our own everyday life. I mean, you live in a city, in a country, and you think everything is sustainable. If everyone else went dark out there, you think everything's going to maintain just fine at home, and it's really not.
It has right now, in view of the war in Ukraine, the dependency on Russia's oil and gas needs to be stopped, needs to be reduced. So I guess Canada needs to step up and provide that for now. Does that a long-term solution? No. We have to move away from using oil and gas, but for now we need to step up Canada's production of oil and gas and use. Absolutely.
Yeah, we should be more self-dependent on our own oil and gases because we have an abundance here in Canada itself. So if we start using our own resources instead of importing them in, we'd probably save a lot and make more jobs.